There were hopes for Poland when the nation embarked on their 2018 World Cup journey. On the back of a quarter-final place at Euro 2016 and having topped their group in qualifying, Poland were expected to dominate a group that was the hardest to predict in the final tournament in Russia. However, just 160 minutes into their adventure, their journey had finished. A 2-1 defeat by Senegal and a 3-0 thrashing by Colombia meant that they were going home. So how, now at Euro 2021, will they adapt with their new generation? And how will they adapt in the future generations without their star man, Robert Lewandowski? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the TotalSport YouTube channel and another Rising Nations video in partnership with First Time Finish. Go drop them a follow on Twitter. They've got some really exciting pieces, including stuff with Thomas Frank, Brentford manager, which I saw on Twitter yesterday. Massive big up to those guys. They're absolutely smashing it as per usual. So go drop them a follow. The link to this article is in the description. And it is another Rising Nations like we've done on Hungary, Finland and Macedonia. We're now covering Poland. If you do enjoy this video and enjoy all of our content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We need to get to 1,300 now. We've got just hit 1,200, which is amazing. We want to get to 1.3k straight away. Anyway, enough of the rambling. Let's get into the video. The aforementioned abhorrent performance at the World Cup cost manager Adam Nawalka his job. Now, his replacement was Jerzy Brzezinski. He was a surprise choice for the role, having been manager of Wisla Plock, but his main experience were in the lower divisions in Poland. He was replaced having come up tactically short and struggled to contain egos like Robert Lewandowski. In his place, though, comes a much higher pedigree in Paulo Sousa, having achieved success on the continent at club level. It's his first venture into international football, but he comes with fresh ideas and an attacking philosophy which helps the likes of Lewandowski, Piotr and Milik thrive. More importantly, though, his dressing room is united. So before we get into this current crop, let's have a look at Poland's history in football. They've always been a proud nation, and the 70s and 80s were the peak for them. They were Olympic gold medalists in 1972, followed by a third place in the 1974 and 1982 World Cup. Grzegorz Lato, Zbigniew Boniek and Kazimierz Dejna were household names during the era. But as the 1980s brought poverty and decline in the communist empire of Poland, like many socialist countries, investment in football waned. The decline continued beyond the fall of communism. It took Poland 16 years to qualify for a World Cup after their appearance in the 1986 edition. The new century helped gradually improve the nation's fortunes, culminating in co-hosting the 2012 European Championships. This tournament was the first where their quartet of global superstars in Wojciech Szczesny, Jakub Blaszczykowski, Lukasz Piszczek and Robert Lewandowski donned the colours together. Those golden years and the stoic performances of the 70s and 80s seem a long time away now, but not all has been doom and gloom. Precisely 5 years ago, Poland marched to the quarter-finals of the European Championships with the aforementioned quartet. They only lost on penalties against eventual champions Portugal in a performance which ignited the passion for the sport in the nation once again. Polish expert Kamil Rogalski said that Lewandowski broke the wall. The Czechs had Pavel Nedved, the Ukrainians had Andrei Shevchenko, and even the Belarusians had Alexander Hleb. But Poland have had no one in this era until Robert Lewandowski came along. But it may not be just these 4 players that will inspire the new generation. In fact, it has already been inspired with the new crop coming through. Sousa has already called up 17-year-old Kacper Kozłowski and 8 under-23 players in their senior squad. The likes of Jakub Moder, Sebastian Szymanski, Kamil Józwiak, Kamil Piotowski, as well as Kozłowski will be the bedrock of the new burgeoning talent in Polish football. And most of them play abroad. Krystian Bielik, Sebastian Wakulewicz, Michał Karbonik and Bartosz Bialek all currently ply their trade in England, as well as 17-year-old wonderkid Mateusz Musiałowski training with Liverpool's first team. So that obviously begs the question, what happens after Lewandowski? They may struggle to replace both him and centre-back stalwart Kamil Glik in the future. On the new core of the side, there are solid centre-backs like Wakulewicz, Piotowski, Jan Bednarek and Krystian Bielik. So they've got creative balance, both at the back and in midfield. They've also got Piotr Zielinski, who's only just turned 26, and former Leicester City midfielder Bartosz Kapustka, who's making a comeback in the Ekstraklasa. One thing we haven't really mentioned is the goalkeeper, but we don't think that will be a problem for Poland. They've already produced top talents there throughout the years, like Jerzy Dudek, Artur Boruc, Łukasz Fabianski, and the number one, Wojciech Szczesny. The next generation already has Maciej, Bulka, Dragowski, Kamil Grabara, and Jakub Orzinski, who are all at top clubs in Europe. So what has changed to make Poland one of the most exciting young teams in Europe? Well, we think it might come from a new domestic ruling. Recently, since 2019-20, Poland have made it mandatory that each club has one academy player on the pitch at any given time. This should encourage the development of Polish youth players. Despite this change, Poland are lacking one big thing. They've had no representative in the Champions League or Europa League since 2016-17. They've had disappointing defeats in qualifying, and the best players have been taken away from their sides. So how can we project the future for the Ekstraklasa and for Polish football? They're not alone in being poorly funded. Many leagues outside the top 5 are selling leagues to the big 5. Of course they'll be concerned with the pace clubs selling their best young players to the best young teams in Europe. They can move abroad or too soon or to a club too big, which means that they'll fall down the pecking order. A bit like Bartosz Kapuska, the role of player agency could be the key. With good career guidance, a good agent can ensure his players make the right decisions for a brighter long-term future. And judging by Ekstraklasa's biggest departures in recent years, Polish youngsters are indeed making smart decisions, hinting that there is room for hope. Jakub Moder's transfer to Brighton is a good example, as is Kamil Piotowski's future move to Red Bull Salzburg. So replacing the key figures like Lewandowski and Kamil Glik in the dressing room will be tough, especially their influence. But it's by no means impossible, and they'll be doing it at a time when many of the world's best international teams will be doing exactly the same. Portugal with Cristiano Ronaldo, Argentina with Messi, and Croatia with Luka Modric. What the future holds remains to be seen, but it's certainly not all doom and gloom for Poland. Thank you very much for watching another Rising Nations video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be amazing. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Ta-da.